Hello and welcome to that EV Café Takeaway, the podcast focused on a zero-emission future that we all hope for. Every week I get joined by one of the wonderful members of the team of the EV Café, and this week we have the lovely, the wonderful, the inimitable John Curtis.
Oh, bless you. That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me. How much of that did you mean?
None. Right. No, I mean it all. Big love heart. Is that how they do these hearts these days? Just like that, isn't it? Hey, oh look, I've done it.
Oh, there you icing.
That
Perfect.
actually looks like a heart. Anyway, Tim, you're not allowed to say anything until I introduce you. Anyway, so every week we get joined by amazing pioneers, innovators and collaborators. And I'm not kidding you, this guy has done so much for our industry in terms of electrification. This is going to be a blockbuster. I am joined by the amazing Tim Campbell of, Campbell's Consultancy, but I mean, goodness me, it just doesn't sum it up. Tim, hello and welcome.
You get me worried. I thought you got somebody else. I thought you got somebody else and you got me instead then. Yeah, welcome. Hiya, Paul. Hiya, John. You all right?
Hello, mate.
Yeah, good
Tim,
to see you.
I mean, for those people that have lived under an electric rock for the last, well, probably 2 decades, I would guess you've been dabbling in around decarbonisation or whatever. You can tell us in a moment. But I know, particularly with trucks, but a lot with vans too. You've done a hell of a lot to help the all of the industry in the commercial vehicle world. Just tell us a little bit about what you guys do today, and then we can begin to explore the past.
Today is really just helping people manage what's going on, because it's quite, for a lot of people, and for the majority, I mean, we're in a watershed moment. Nobody's really done electrification on heavy trucks, certainly. This is all new. So it can be quite frightening, daunting, whatever you want to call it. Where do you start? How do you start? All the sort of questions that they do. So the idea behind the consultancy is just to give people at least a roadmap or a route, or at least somebody to bounce ideas off. So that's how it starts off at the beginning, because people just don't know where to start, and also who starts it within a business. So it's just really just giving signposting, roadmaps towards what, how do you start? And that's how it all starts, really, is a case of, I don't have a clue. I've never had an electric truck. I don't know anything about it. I don't know what I need to support it, that sort of thing. So that's how we help out.
If you operate a fleet of cars or vans, you'll know electric is the future. Transitioning to EVs can be daunting, but with Europe Car, it's effortless. Our long-term EV rentals eliminate the upfront costs, contract commitments, and uncertainty. Instead, you'll get total flexibility, a wide choice of cars and vans, and Europe Car's expert support. So, make the switch without the stress and experience Europe Karma. Search Europe Car Business.
Tim, it's a great question for me to now ask you. How did this start? Because electrification in trucks in particular, it was something that was on the horizon a long time ago. How did you get into this decarbonisation piece particularly? What was your journey?
It was a case of just going around the world looking at what was happening, and I happened to fall on a truck show or a commercial vehicle show in China, and that was called in 2013, and that was called the Chinese Commercial Vehicle Show. Very inventive, and it was based in a place called Wuhan, which we all come to know. Yeah, Wuhan, yeah, exactly. That's which in 2013 did not have any connotations whatsoever. It's just another. It's about 2.5 hours flight outside Beijing, and I saw 2013. I saw electrification already in light vans as it was then, and then I kept going back every show up to 2019, and by then it was heavy trucks. Electric, it was electric vans, it was hydrogen, it was everything, all in this Chinese show. And it's not an international show. It's the only internal commercial vehicle show in China. So Beijing and Shanghai are international shows. You get a lot of international journalists, etc. There's me and a Japanese guy at the first instance, just going around here and thinking, hell, this is, and every show, because every 2 years, 13, 15, 16, 17, and then 19, I saw the growth in electric, and I'm thinking, this is where the market's going. This is a trend. This is not stoppable anymore. And I started talking to everybody, and then I came back and did a speech at Alexander Palace, I think for one of Road Transport, Andy Salter's lot. And I said, this is how I think the market's going to progress in the next decade. And this is 2019, 2020. I said, I think we'll see electrification. I think we'll see in vans, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then there was a guy from National Grid on the venture side, Chris Green, and Chris Broom. And then he said, Tim, we think the same, and we know that fleet vans and heavy trucks are going to be our biggest challenge. We don't know anything about fleet vans and heavy trucks. Why don't you come and work for us as a consultant for 10 days a month for over a year and look at our strategy and see how we do? What do you think the future might look for? So that's what really got. So then I got to know about electrification, DNOs, KVAs, working for the grid on the venture side. So it got me, I got both sides of it. And working for the grid gives you a lot of access to stuff as well. So that's how I got. So the combination of having the trucks and the vans and then the electrification gave me a good grounding into where I think the future's going.
Tim, do you come at this from a perspective of being an environmentalist and wanting to, not use fossil fuels? Do you come at this from this is new and that's really exciting? What is it that drives you to find this stuff?
It drives me to make it economical. I mean, we've got it on a TCO basis, and looking at it's a problem, and I love problem solving, and there has to be a solution to it. I'm not a great believer in there's no solution. So it's a case of, hey, it's a problem, let's get over it. I used to run 400, 500 trucks. My mantra to a lot of truck salespeople when they used to come to sell to me was, make me money or save me money. That's the only thing your job is. I don't run them because I love them. I run them because I want to make money out of them. I want to improve the bottom line. And if I look at this table and chair here, if I can take it for £1.57 and your truck, I can take it for £1.37, why shouldn't I buy it? Now, when you come to electric and getting that TCO, because we don't run because we love them, and we're in this demonstration program, we'll talk about that maybe later on, we've got to make the numbers count, and it's like we can't get everything to work all at once at the moment, so it's just problem solving really, because I know where the end game is, and the end game is renewables and lower CO2s. That's where we want to do, and this is, and you said it there, John. This is decarbonisation, not electrification yet. And I think it's knowing where that mix is going to be and what our incline is going to be. Some people it's going to be like that. I think it's going to be a lot less than that. And I think, we've got to work with that and within the confines that legislation and regulation give us as well. And that's a massive, massive issue as well.
So you're far more than just a fleet consultant. You're somebody who actually understands the business, what the levers are for the economics of that business, and you're trying to make it as profitable as you can with whatever tools you've got at your disposal.
Yeah. We've got to make money out. In the end, ultimately, we've got, and it's very difficult at this moment in time. It's very niche at this moment in time. And I think that's the important thing to say. And some people are getting cost parity against diesel in certain operations. I've seen that already. But they're very niche at the moment. And we've got to look at the long game. Yeah, this is about legislation, regulation, and things like, working time directive and the tachograph rules. Also things like, weights and dimensions, which cars don't have anything to do with it. These are all the things that we need. We need government, we need policy, and we can't do it within the confines of the current diesel regulation. Running electric is not as easy. In fact, in some cases, it's virtually impossible. And therefore, we need to sort that. So my job is, I don't know. I've got lots of jobs in the fact that I don't want the problem. I don't want to look at the problems. I also want to offer solutions as well, which is important, because anybody can tell you what's wrong. It's the people that can tell you this is a potential solution. They're the people that we need.
Yeah, and Tim, you're absolutely the nail on the head. I mean, some time ago, I decided that I would kind of get out there and try and be the voice of vans. I totally very much respect that you've got actually an incredible amount of knowledge in vans, but obviously there's a really big job in trucks to do, which you're doing and doing extremely well. And it is that desire to help and kind of bring solutions. It was interesting. I posted recently on LinkedIn about the 30 million of grants that have been sort of extended by government. And I was saying, well, it's nonsense. Nobody can take advantage of this. I was actually a little bit grumpy because I just didn't think it had been thought through. And I don't think it's been fully thought through, but there was some solutions. And it was interesting that generally people want to hear what they can do with what's out there. And Tim, do you think, we've got the ZHID trials, we're seeing a lot of money put in there, probably relatively not a lot, but actually it is still quite a lot of money, and there is some significant improvements. What are you seeing that is out there to help, like the ZHID trials, and how do you think that's working? But what else do you think we need to do in order to really accelerate this?
I think we need consistency. I think democracy is a big problem for the way that we're, because we can't do. I'm serious. People laugh, and I'm not saying we should have a. No, what I'm saying is, you can look at China, and obviously I go there quite on a regular basis, and I know what they're doing for the next 10, 15, because they don't have a change in government. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but what I'm saying is, it allows you to do this sort of thing. We swing from one side to another. Conservative and Labour have got different views completely, with trucks and vans, renewables in the middle. Yeah. And so, therefore we only have effectively, and this is any government, 5 years maximum. It takes them a year to work it all out and to get some sort of policy. It takes them 2 or 3 years then to implement, and then we know the last year they're thinking about the election, so they're looking at what the government's going to do. So in fact, we actually have a sweet spot of probably about 2.5 years that we can actually do anything. And of course, with trucks and with anything really in business, we want long-term planning. I want to know that this, a truck, 100,000 diesel truck, 250,000 for an electric truck. If I'm buying 10 or 15 or 20 of those, I don't want to know they're going to be completely gone in 2.5 years. Yeah. We can't. This is practical world things that we need to do, and government are really at the heart of everything in this area, and we've got to work with them, not against them.
How do you think we do that, Tim? Because we've talked. So in the run up to this latest batch of grants, We talked about the used market for cars. So, me, I'm not particularly interested in cars, but I understand that effort needs to be put into the used market as a whole. And if we can kind of deploy something on cars, maybe it'll affect the van market as well. Education, hopefully a rising tide and all that good stuff, lifting all boats. But
Monty Python now.
Sorry?
Educate. What has the Romans done for us? Education. It's like Monty Python now. I'm sorry, mate.
Well, don't forget the roads. Long, straight roads.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. You've got roads, you've got education, you've got... Yeah, come on.
Anyway, but, oh gosh, we could go down a rabbit hole here, couldn't we?
Phil.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so coming back to sort of sensible stuff, we lobbied government, we gave them a plan, we expressed all of the key areas, and they came out with revising grants on new cars and effectively causing the market to entirely stop while everybody worked out whether they could get the grant or not. But people that were thinking of lower value vehicles were already going, we'll wait for the grant to see if we get the grant or not. So the market just went, woof. And then we put in a really complex charging kind of infrastructure place that has to be delivered by March next year, including grid connections. There's up to £1 million available. Yeah, I mean, only really companies...
You've got to have it signed off by November. Yeah, end of November, and implicated by the end of March.
All of that sort of stuff. You just think, and it's only 75%, so you've got to put in the 25%.
Yeah.
So there was so much. How have they got it? Not wrong, but are they ill-advised? What is it? How do we get the message out there?
I think, first of all, you've got to remember that Treasury has a massive effect on anything that's going on for a start. So I think, again, it passed by Treasury is an important thing. And also you've got this thing between DESNZ and DFT. You've got two different groups with two different approaches, and trying to square that hole is not easy at all.
So Tim,
and I think also you've got...
Just tell us what DESNZ and DFT are. Just some people on the call might not know DESNZ in particular.
So, Yeah, you've got Department for Transport, and you've got the Department for Energy, Security, and National Infrastructure. I can't exactly remember what the
That's
Z
a pretty good go. Well done.
Yeah, that's it. But it's all about the energy in, back at home and the grids and everything like that. So we've got those two players, and then you got Treasury in the middle. So it's just. I mean, you did well with the van plan. I think it's important that we did that. I think that's important. That recognises, again, legislation and regulation are important for the growth of this business. And trucks are exactly the same. And also, you've got to also overlay the EU in this. People don't realise the unintended consequences of what the EU did in 2019 for the truck manufacturers, particularly, and said you've got to cut your emissions by 15% by 2025 based on a benchmark of June 2019, and you've got to chuck it, originally was 30% by 2030. They've gone now up to 45%. But they based it on Vector. Vector is basically like WLTP for trucks, and that only came into 16 tonnes and above. That meant the manufacturers concentrated on the very, very heavy end, the tracked unit end, when really I do believe we should have been concentrating on the distribution side, which are the 7.5 tonners and the 12 tonners and 16 tonners, which are the ones that go into the city that have got the lower batteries, smaller batteries, 200 kilowatt, therefore smaller, the lower price cost there. They only need 22 kilowatt, some of them, charges. So all of a sudden we had the EU saying this, which is then an unintended consequence of the EU way of saying concentrate on the big heavy stuff. Their argument is, they do more mileage, but in the end it's that we wanted to clean the cities up. The Dutch have just got that. They've just got a regulation now in. You've got 19 cities that have said we don't want diesel trucks in here anymore, and anything that's bought after 2020 this year's got to be electric. All right, they've got a dispensation for Euro 6 product, and there's another 10 cities that are going to do that. The central government changed in Holland, but the city said we're in charge of our city,
right?
And therefore we don't want that. So we're going to keep with it no matter what you do. And certainly that's my belief of it. I mean, somebody in Holland might tell it different. Certainly that's the feedback that I'm getting from everybody. So I think you've got to see the EU, the truck manufacturers, with the greatest respect to them, and having worked for 3 of them, they would not have done what they've done. Neither would any manufacturer. If you look at cars even, Euro 3, Euro 4, Euro 5, do you think they would have naturally done that if there wasn't legislation and regulation? Because it costs them so much. The one thing also we don't talk about is Euro 7. What is going on with Euro 7? I know this is all about electrification, but stuff like, because I asked that to someone yesterday in Europe, and I said, "What's the legislation? You talk about electrification, decarbonisation, etc. What's happening with Euro 7? I don't know." And yet that's coming in less than a year, 18 months, 2 years from now. So everybody seems to have forgotten anything to. But the manufacturers got to develop things for Euro 7. So you've got manufacturers now who in 2019 had a great budget, everything was just diesel. Now what's happening is we've got to do some electric stuff, we've got to do some hydrogen stuff, I've got to do hydrogen as fuel cell, I've got to do hydrogen as a gas, I've got to do e-fuels, I've got to look at make sure they're compatible with biodiesels, and then I've also got to look at Euro 7 and developing that. Hell, we've got real, life was so easy, and that's less than 5-6 years ago, mate.
Yeah, I mean, I remember Euro 4 coming in and the catalytic converting process and all of that kind of stuff. And
DPFs, EGR.
DPFs, EGR, all of that kind of stuff. And
SCR,
now,
I believe.
Yeah, that was it, yeah. And now we've got Euro 7, which is obviously the first standard to affect EVs. So that's going to, it's focused in on brake wear, tyre wear, all of those kinds of things.
Correct.
Which is
all the supplementary emissions that are going on there, which we were looking at as well. And also, there's not a lot on the diesel. It isn't as bad as I don't think it's bad. It's also based on, it used to be on 6, used to be able to warm the engine up. Now it's based on cold start from the beginning. Once you turn it on, it's got to have those emissions, which are that's oversimplifying it, but that's how it is. So you've got all these in play, and the poor operator He's looking at this, and and then you've got your truck team, and each legislation is different because we've got Europe looking at e-fuels. We're not looking at e-fuels. We've got the mantra we're a zero emission country, not a low emission country. You've got people like JC Bamford looking at hydrogen as a gas and saying, can we have that as compatible? You've got all these things, and the operator's thinking, I've got to buy another 100 trucks next year. What the hell am I going to do? And that's serious things, mate.
Exactly. And sitting here listening to you two, you are clearly incredibly well informed about the whole area of legislation and operating trucks and vans. What strikes me is if I was a fleet manager looking to start the journey to electrification, I'd be just sitting there going, I'm so scared now, I don't know what to do. Tim, can you make it really straightforward for me? If I'm a fleet operator and I've got a mixed fleet of some vans and a few smaller trucks, where do I start with fleet electrification?
I always start
just making improvements.
Yeah, I always say start with the lightest and work your way up. Basically, if you want a rule of thumb, start with vans. You learn so much running vans in terms of charging, infrastructure, dwell time. All the basics are the same, whether it's a heavy truck or not. It's just the fact that the assets are a lot more expensive and take a lot longer to actually get in there. But certainly the principles are very good in there. And like I say, you've got 100 vans. You won't do them all at once. You can't do them all at once. So you pick your routes, and same with trucks. It's exactly the same. And also with trucks, we can. It's by set. We've got the light distribution trucks that go into the cities, and then we've got the long haul or regional haul that go on the motorways. So you've got two different sort of routes, if you like, to market. But certainly my view is start with the lighter stuff. So on trucks, I'd say exactly the same. Start with distribution, because they're the ones that can cut the PM 2.5s in the city. Those are things that get in your lungs. Those are sort of things that we want to be doing and showing, hey, we can do it. And also, the trucks are a lot cheaper, not cheap, but relative to everything, to a heavy truck, because the batteries are smaller, probably half or a third. You've got heavy trucks at 600 kilowatt hours, 200 kilowatt hours. You'd probably look at the distribution. So, of course, that you've immediately got a third difference in terms of that. And as I said, the infrastructure, you can run probably a distribution truck. I'm not saying you can, but I'm just being a bit on a van, virtually 22 kilowatt. You can do that within, and you can charge it, because distribution truck with 200, it's not going to come back with zero. It's going to come back with maybe 40 kilowatts, things like that. So you've got like 8 hours. You can do that with a 22 kilowatt and fill that battery up. So, but it isn't easy, and it's a case of picking your depots as well. As I say to a lot of people, it's what's driving them. Is it, as you asked me there again, do you want to decarbonise, or who's driving this? But the important thing is, on trucks, we have a lot of peripheral people and vans on fleet vans. I'm not talking about I'm talking about fleet mainly for what I do anyway. You've got lots of people involved in it. And we've always talked about the fact that, you do have a fleet engineer, you might have a transport manager, you might have a facilities or property manager, you might have the finance people, you might have HR involved. You've got all these people who never ever talk to themselves. And when you're buying diesel, you didn't need to worry about it. Now, you've got to get everybody involved, So it's frightening, and people just want to know. Give us an idea. Just give us, where do we start? And I think that's important.
So you're like the conductor of the orchestra, then, basically.
Yeah, you're bringing everyone together, making him realise you need that. Yeah, without a doubt, bringing it all. You need some violins in there. No, let's get the drums in that side of it. So yeah, and it ends up being a complete mess. Oh no. No, you end up playing Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, I'm sure, by the end of it.
Absolutely. But, With you at the helm, we will definitely have Beethoven and Verdi and all of those good guys. But Tim, listen, I think people like to buy people, right? And you've got an encyclopedic knowledge. But I could be, on what we've seen so far, I'd be forgiven for thinking, gosh, he's quite intimidating, is our Tim, pin back your ears. But I know different. Because I know that you've been around this industry for a long time. You are known and loved by many. And you've alluded to the fact
Not at our house.
alluded to the fact that you've worked for a few manufacturers, you've had a business building data, you've fleet managed, you've done a lot. How did all of this start? Because nobody, not often, chooses trucks, but I happen to know you're from a part of the world which was synonymous with trucks not too many years ago. Yeah. So talk to us a little bit about how you got here from way back when you were a lad. What did you dream
when
of?
I was a lad, God. A helicopter pilot, actually.
Was it really?
Yeah. Me and my mate went make love helicopter, because for helicopter, I wanted to be fleet. If you wanted the RAF, you had to be in 13 years. Fleet Air Arm, you could be in 9 years and be a helicopter pilot. So I went to HMS Dolphin, and I did all the training for officer training. And I found out that I'm colourblind at night. At night?
And
I did everything. I passed it. Yeah, I passed everything. And the last thing I had to do was that. Anyway, cut a long story short, my mate went there, make love. Unfortunately, he got caught in the Falklands. He was a helicopter pilot, and he took the SS out, and unfortunately they hit the side of the ship, and he went down with the ship and with the helicopter.
Wow.
My mum was saying, God, that could have, what could have been. But anyway, to talk, I'm obviously born in Leyland. I'm a Leylander, so Leyland trucks. Right. In fact, our farm is at the side of it. Says it's welcome to Leyland, building trucks since 1896.
Wow.
That's it. But I didn't work for Leyland originally. To cut a long story short, I went out with the MD's daughter of ERF Trucks. Eric Green, who was the MD, Peter Forden was the chairman of ERF, which is the F in Forden. Eric Green was the managing director. Karen Green was. I went out with her, and when I wanted to do a year out in industry, because I had to do in India, I was at Lancaster Poly, or Coventry University it is now. I had to do a thick sandwich. I had to be a year out in industry. And so I went to ERF Trucks and research and development. And from then on, I just got hooked on trucks. And that was it.
Did you fall in love with trucks? Was it just kind of the environment that suited you best?
Yeah, I just loved them. I fell in love with trucks. They're just brilliant. They're big, they're bold, and you've got to know what you're on about. And they're quite unique. And I think I just love it. I'm sat in a. Hey, when you do Millbrook or Cenex and you've got a choice of vehicles, guess what? A lot of the journalists and a lot of people want to do, they want to go and drive that truck, because they can go around Millbrook, the thingy, and they're up there and they go up the 4 or 5 steps and they go in there, and it's like a kid. They're like a kid. You take a picture of them all, they're like children. And that's where it is, and that's where I do it. And then trying to make money or what they do, how you do it, and things like that. It's just. It's not fun every day, but I mean, it's not fun. When you're trying to make money out of them, it's like any job. But I think once you get, I always say to people, who's the bigger fool, the one that leaves the truck industry and comes back, or the one that never comes and never leaves? And that is an interest, because a lot of people go to trucks, no disrespect, go to cars and maybe to vans, and then before you know it, they're saying, "Can I go back to trucks?" Oh yeah, because it's it is a different set of people, and we don't suffer fools very well. I think that's the important thing. You've got to know what you're on about. Yeah, no, seriously, you've got to know what you're on about, and we've got so much legislation, so much regulation. We're controlled, DVSA, people like, which is right, and I agree with it. But so it's not like a car. You've got to really know. You've got to know about your tachographs, your towing legislation, which you do on vans as well. So axle loadings, all that sort of thing. It's getting rid of a lot of people, and you just then talk to people that actually are in a sort of knowledge base that I quite like.
Speaking of fools, here's me.
No. Joe.
Tim, you are incredible at sucking up information and retaining it. Do you restrict that just to trucks, or do you have that in your whole life, that you love to research, you love to learn, and you love to develop?
I never stop, mate. Life's too short.
What else is a specialist subject for you?
You're going to laugh now. I think Paul knows it. Orchards, apples, pears, plum, and damsons.
Okay.
We have a fruit farm.
Did you?
We have a fruit farm. We've got 1,000 fruit trees. In fact, we just put another 1,000 in at the moment. So we're just starting the harvest season start. It's literally we start with Stanley plums last weekend. We do apple juice, pear juice. So apple, pear, plum, and damson. So we produce quite a lot of apple. We're doing about 5,000 to 10,000 bottles of apple juice. I think we'll do between now and Christmas.
Good gracious, how do we get hold of such wonderful things?
I think there's no problem. I think I'm sure we can sort you out with something between you.
I want to taste Tim Campbell's plums.
So,
Oh, no.
That's
yeah,
an
had
interesting
to go
thought.
there. Oh,
I
God.
know, exactly. No, I think we'll keep with the apple juice, mate. John. But no, we don't do the plum juice, unfortunately. They don't juice that very well.
Well,
no.
listen. So I'm actually in touch with a certain Liam Campbell, which is
Yes, I think I know him.
your offspring.
My son, yeah,
Indeed, and
he's.
Go on.
I think I think you're coming up to farm sometime anyway, aren't
I'm
you?
hoping to.
We don't start apple discovery. Yeah, you see, you're getting into my specialist. Discovery apples start within probably next weekend. So we need apples to make apple juice, and then we'll make apple juice then through to Christmas, bottle it all up and sell it through a year. And it's pure apple juice. We don't use pesticides. Again, we've just bought for sustainability. We just bought a new quad bike that's electric, fully electric with a trailer. We've got a couple of tractors, but we've got to get them into electric at the moment. There's not for the bigger tractors. There's not much in electric at the moment. So, but the quad bike, we've just made that. So we do all collections down to the orchard with an electric quad bike and things like that. So yeah, it's good fun. Enjoy it. It gives me something else, to do that. In fact, this morning before we've just been picking some fruit ready to put on we've got a stall at the front. We're on the road between Preston and Southport, so we get a lot of people calling around. It's quite well known because we've been here 30 years, so it's quite a good thing.
So
I just love people.
Well,
Don't you just love that? You say it's like an onion, and you peel it, and you just go, I thought you were just the truck guy, and now I'm like, wow.
But what I love, so I've got the flyer that Liam's put out that allows businesses like ours that were at exhibitions, if we want to offer something that's slightly different, we can offer a little bottle of totally sustainable apple juice.
Yeah.
And they're specially preserved apples. I think you've got a tree in your orchard, which is possibly the last one in the world.
Yeah, we've got two. This been in orchard since 1730, so this is quite. And we've got three. We had a guy come round do DNA testing on all our fruit and what we've got. And you then send it down to Morlings, which is like a big laboratory where they do DNA testing for all the fruit. And they came back and said, look, there's those two trees are unique to you. We do not have any DNA traced to those. So we've got that. I mean, we're just making, Liam's just been making pear juice out of that as well. Walton Weeper, it's called. So we've got quite unique, and Liam takes cuttings of those every year. February we take cuttings, so then we try and then propagate those and do that. So keep sustainability. And I say we don't use pesticides, and when we juice, we don't put anything else other than the juice itself. And all we do is pasteurize it, and that's it. So we don't even put even the ones that say that they put ascorbic acid and things like that. We don't even bother with that. Just literally pure juice. So that's how we'd like to work.
Fantastic.
Sold. We'll take some.
Absolutely.
Good.
We should definitely do something. We've got an event coming up. This will go out before the event, I think, Fleet Mobility Live.
Yeah.
I might have a word with Liam and see if we can get a few bottles.
If we've got
for
the
that.
apples, correct. Again, it's just based on what apple. Every year is different. Within a week, 3 or 4 weeks, that the fruit's ready or they're not ready. So, and then obviously we've got to have apple juice to actually produce the apple. We've got to have the apples to get the apple juice.
Yeah.
I can even feel some special labels coming, Paul, with glasses on the apples.
EV, yeah, exactly. EV Café. We could brand it EV Café.
Absolutely, it's super cool. I love that. I love the idea. I must admit, but
no, seriously, mate, good fun.
It is. And so sustainability, I mean, did that because obviously you're carrying through the zero emission theme, that sort of decarbonisation theme into this kind of side hustle,
into
for want
this
of a barrel.
Yeah, we got things like the barn. We've got a 60-foot barn. We harvest the rainwater off that. We've got 1,000-litre IBCs. We've got 10 of those. So we harvest 10,000 litres. We use that then. We've got a well as well, which is unique to us. So we use that as well. Forgive the pun. So we try and keep sustainability into everything that we think about and everything we do.
I think I've just come up with the title for this podcast. Tim Campbell, Sustainability at His Core.
I saw that. Very good. Very good. Very good.
Just brilliant.
That's it.
But Tim, I do love this. That you have that thing, but I also know, coming back to the sort of core subject, couldn't resist it. Sorry, is you've got a real clear eye on the future, and what are you seeing that, perhaps in China's definitely a place where I'm desperate to go to. I will get there probably in the next 12 months, to try and see something for myself, because it would be very exciting. But what are you seeing on the horizon that can kind of give us a little bit of almost hope, I suppose, that actually technology is running faster than we think it is?
I would say that we've got, again, depends on which part of the world. I mean, look at America, right? With Trump has changed now. I've been there twice. I went to Indianapolis for the Green Truck Show. I then went to ACT Expo in LA. And I've seen now that all of a sudden, I went there last year, everyone was talking about electric and hydrogen. I go now, and again, this is changing completely. They're now going into 20% was electric. The rest of it was gas. They were going LNG, biogas, biodiesels, all that sort of thing. So what you think now, whereas if I go to China, I know exactly what they're doing, what the plans are. And I think that's an important thing to do. So everything I would say is on the premise that if we have a change in government, then we will have a change. But unfortunately nowadays, we seem to have extremes on both sides. We seem to go from one side to the other. And renewable, as I said right at the beginning, is really at the heart of everything that we do. It's like in the States, if you go on CNN, and you get this side. If you go on Fox News, you get the complete opposite side. The truth is in the middle somewhere. And unfortunately, it's left to us to decide that. And it's important that we do see both sides of the coin. But certainly from the only heavy truck side, I think we need a lot more ZHID is good for us, and I think it's good. I mean, the thing that worries me, without ZHID, which has got about 320 trucks, I don't see much behind ZHID, and I think that's where the government has to step in. All right, we've got 400 million, which is for cars, vans and trucks. We've got a few other things that are coming along. But as I said, we've got to unopen, we've got to release the floodgates and things like, as I said, things like tachograph, the 45 minutes, things like weights and dimensions. But then they'll go and say, Tim, that's National Highway's job to tell us if the bridges can take it, because it's not the government's job to do that. We just do. So we've got a lot of things that we need to do, but I think we've got to think outside the box. The government have got to think outside the box on things like weights and dimensions, because if not, we're going to have a big problem. But there's a lot of help. We've got a lot. There's a lot to do. There's a lot to be grateful for. And what I would say is the fact that the incline, it's on a trend. And I think that's the important thing. We're going in one direction. We all know where the end game's going to be, which is zero emission. It's just a case of where is it going to finish? When's the end date?
Tim, one thing that we briefly mentioned but not gone into any detail is hydrogen.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are uncertain about its future and where the applications might be. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I think hydrogen's definitely way behind electric in a lot of cases. I think you've got to look at where the hydrogen's coming from. And obviously, we all know there's 11 colours of hydrogen. How do you make it? And in terms of that, and it's based, whether it's a carbon capture, whether it's from coal or wherever it is, but the green, blue. We want it to be green. So I think the economics at this moment in time, and I think I've been quoted the last time I looked at around about €20 a kilogram. From what I can tell and what I talk to a lot of people is we're looking at to make it TCO right. We're looking at €5 or €6. to make it parity. So we've got a lot. We've got a lot to go, and the infrastructure. I mean, if we think electric infrastructure is bad, they're way behind in terms of that. I'm not saying no, and I think, as I said earlier, hydrogen is a gas and hydrogen fuel cell. But if I look at the ratio, without giving it too much weight, if you look at diesel as a 1, and we look at electric on a truck as in terms of cost around a 2.5 at the moment. If we look at a fuel cell hydrogen, we're looking at 5. So 4 to 5 times as much as well. So, I think naturally we do it. I think UK, we're a small island. I can see it happening if you're taking goods from Lisbon or Porto and going to Ankara or going over to Greece or Athens and doing thousands. I can see it in America, coast to coast. I can see it in Australia in some ways. UK, we're just a small island. I mean, and again, on trucks, you can only do the maximum 56 miles an hour at 4.5 hours. So it's around about 200 miles, 250 miles without a stop. And let's face it, with our roads, M1, M5, M6, you can't guarantee you're going to do that without hitting a traffic jam. So you work on about 180 miles. Well, electric trucks can do 180 miles now.
Easy.
So why are we playing about with it?
There's so much to this, Tim, and I know that we could talk for hours on the joys of electric trucks and vans, of course.
Yeah.
Little trucks, trucks, but not as complex, but certainly a great learning point as you highlighted.
The principles are the same.
Yeah,
principles are the same. I think that's important. What I would say is the one thing I don't like being called as an expert, because nobody's an expert in this game. Everybody's learning every week. We're all learning. I mean, I learned yesterday on something that I didn't know about.
Yeah,
and that's the one thing about it. The moment you think you know everything's the moment you've lost it. So I'm a great believer in. People say an expert. No, I'm a consultant, and I'm still learning. And I think that's important that we all take that into account as well.
Definitely
agreed. Absolutely. Now, Tim, we have a closing tradition on the EV Cafe, because I mean, there's no podcast out there worth its salt without a closing tradition. I mean, come on,
correct, exactly. I wouldn't expect anything different from you guys.
Indeed, and we are top drawer, as other people have said. We wouldn't say it ourselves, of course, but I am about to present you with the EV Cafe magic wand. Look at that. There you go. Straight from Harry Potter with its little lightning bolt. And so here it's coming. Magically, it's going to transpose itself all the way to you. That's it. You've got it. There it is.
Got it. It's down here.
And
it's down here now.
Excellent. Thank you, Tim. You now have the power to wish something to change in our industry, in your orchard, whatever. We've had everything from a personal chef to world peace, as I probably say far too often. But we have had all of those kinds of things. Please tell us, how would you use the magic wand for one wish?
For one wish, I think just unlock electrification and renewables in the truck industry. It's as simple as that.
Simple as that.
Unlock it.
Absolutely.
I don't know how you unlock it, but yeah, exactly. and more discovery apples, please. I haven't planted enough of them, so I need some more discovery because they taste gorgeous.
We'll allow that. Tim. We'll allow a sort of side issue wish.
Yeah.
But I like your thinking, because why would we have a wish for something that we knew how to do? And that, because I think a lot of us think, I'd wish to accelerate this or to take away that, but actually you're wishing for something that is a really difficult task to do, and we don't have a clear road, do we? And I think there is a lot of testing and learning that we're going to be doing over the next few years. Yeah,
and it needs unlocking. We've got too many hurdles at the moment, so I think it's important that, and it's within the manufacturers, in pricing and things like that. It's in the finance, residual values. It's in the infrastructure and the DNOs and the national grid, and then within government in policy, regulation and legislation. All those need to come together and work together. And obviously, I'm trying to do my best. I'm just one person, in terms of that. But I'm doing it for the better, hopefully for the good of the industry, because I know we need to be saying this sort of thing.
Absolutely, and you're doing a
As
fantastic
you guys
job.
are as well, and girls.
We try our little bit, Tim, and I think that's it. With a good number of people doing their little bit, then we do a lot together.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's it. And I think you've got to think for the operators. A lot of cases, they don't have their own voices. All right, the RHA and Logistics UK and people at SMT doing some good jobs on there, and Beaver LA and people like that. But again, we've all got to start singing from the same hymn sheet, and I think that's a key area that for all of us. But for the good of the industry, this is a watershed, as I said right at the beginning. There's no rules, and that's where the government have the problem. We're all great, just continuing everything on. And I said, we're doing in 120 months what we did in 120 years, and it needs some brave decisions. So, and we're all in there. But anyway, I know you want to get rid of me, so hey, go on.
Sorry, did I didn't say that out loud, did I? Did I say that out loud? I thought it.
You had that look like my wife has, which is, for God's sake, shut up, Tim. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm sure your wife is considerably better looking than me. John, this has been great, hasn't it?
Fabulous. I always love talking to Tim, and two things come across for me. One is his incredible knowledge, and the other thing is his passion, not just for what he does, but how he does it. And Tim, I've got a question for you to finish up, which is, how do people get in touch with you? Because you will have inspired people to go make a difference. How do they get in touch so that they can with your help?
Yeah, just go on to our website, campbellsconsultancy.com, and just, there's a page, there's a form on there saying hello, or again, just go through yourselves. You all know us in terms of that, and or give me a call. 7776 999 1918. That's it. Simple as that.
Uh-oh.
Top man.
Gonna get a lot of calls now.
Oh yeah,
not all of them good, I suspect.
No. People have contrary views completely. So, and that's what life's about. Good. It's good that we all, none of us know exactly how we're going to do it.
Well,
good man.
Tim, let me say in summary, there was we've known each other a good while, and when you were first working with National Grid, actually, you came into LeasePlan. And you and Chris, and Chris has obviously gone on to form Green Jam. I guess that's
good
still
lad.
going.
Chris Bream's a great.
Yeah.
Richard. Yeah.
A great guy. I loved meeting you both at that point, and obviously I'm getting to know you at that point. And when I went to choose to do the van world, I obviously gave you a call, and you were always very generous, because
bit of a mentor.
Yeah. But that's it. But you're collaborator, and you don't lock people out, which you could have.
Oh no.
You've given space, and you've been very generous, and throughout the time that we've known each other, and I'm happy to know your son as well, and have worked with him closely, Liam. And he's a great guy, and he's a chip off the old block.
Oh yeah. He likes his fruit. He likes renewable and decarbonisation, mate.
And so trucks. The mind a truck or two,
trucks and vans. He loves it. Oh yeah, well, he's got a truck licence anyway, so it's good for him. Everybody's got a truck. In fact, there's only my wife not got a truck licence. My daughter's got a truck licence.
Really?
My son's got a truck licence. Yeah. Oh yeah. And Jessica, she drives some plant trucks and things like Scanias. So
excellent.
So that's
Isn't that brilliant?
Has done anyway.
Well, Tim, and that's the biggest compliment I can give you. You give space to Muppets like me that want to do a little bit in vans, and kind of skirt around, kind of curiously looking over the fence at trucks and thinking, oh, they're interesting too, and you can help along the way with a little bit of, social media or whatever. But we're very grateful for you in the industry. Thank you for the support that you've given to us as the EV Café. You've come on many webinars.
Always, correct. Always supported all of you.
And you get us all to pin our ears back. I love that phrase when you use that.
I think I'm quiet, me. I don't know what
Well, the daftest thing that's been said in this podcast, let's end on that. Tim Campbell, quiet. But one thing he isn't. But yeah, as John alluded to, look, check Tim out, connect with him. You've got his phone number. If you scroll back, you can give him a call directly. You can reach out to us. We'll happily help. You can also head over to our website. And of course, on our website now, we have exciting new things like leasing deals. So you can check out the best value vehicles for your business and vans too. And some big uns as well, but no trucks yet. Trucks are not yet on leasing.com, but you can see on our website, and I'm sure Tim might, you can maybe write a little truck article for us to post on our website. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we'll get a little bit. That'll be on the website too. You can check that out, and there'll be all Tim's links in the comments and whatnot. So until next time, everybody, have a great day and think truck. See ya.